indicator that there must be so many other things that are happening behind the scene. And Akisa, you must know that in politics, a minute means a lot.
Yeah.
An hour means a lot. A day means a lot. So maybe tomorrow Kenyans might see a white smoke from their conclave. So let us expect to see a white smoke tomorrow.
But
I need to add something. In the 2007 election, the post-election violence was not triggered by the announcement as such. Or it was triggered maybe in a small part by the announcement. But it is when Kivitu was asked, the late Samuel Kivitu was asked, can you stand by these results? And he stammered. He said even he himself had no control of certain returning officers. That statement by the late Samuel Kivitu is what caused tensions to move beyond reasonable measures. Where we are today as a country, the statement of doubt that Ezra has said, to be sure, is what is going to escalate tensions beyond control. It is a bad statement. On the matter of NASA's waiting, I think NASA has proved a point that there is information they are waiting for. The new IEBC has gaps, and slowly it has been collecting its information to a point where it can present a logical argument.
But looking at how the IEBC officials came in and how the previous set of officials were handed out of office and how they have been conducting themselves throughout the 8 months they have been in office before the election, this particular statement, where we are now, that Ezra Chiloba says, I can't yet make these things available to you, yet this is the basis NASA is this is the basis of their dispute of this particular election. How does this make the IEBC look? Does it their image as a commission?
The only tricky part, remember, this is the same IEBC that 24 hours after the election, they alleged that they have almost received 29,000. At some point, they talked of 30,000 Form 34A. The next day again, they reduced the number of the forms that they had received. Up to today, they are what is flying on their website, purporting to be a Form 34, and it's an exercise book. So these are issues that IBC needs to. And I agree with what Kioko is saying, that these are some of the reasons as to why this country went the direction that it took in 2007. If IBC, remember, if anyone needs to move to court today, he cannot move to court until he gets all these documents so that it forms basis of his decision. We have only tomorrow and on Thursday and probably part of Friday. If up to today, IBC is not able to produce the 40,000 plus Form 34A, then what will be the basis of someone moving to court?
What does this do to the image of IEBC and the commissioners? Okay.
Actually, if you recall, on Friday last week, IEBC told NASA, we are looking at your grievances, you go, we will respond. Meanwhile, IEBC was preparing to make an announcement. In fact, we were on set when a fellow panelist told me that NASA have been fooled because we have information that they just wanted them to leave the room so that they can prepare to make an announcement. What this does is to deepen the disgrace in which IBC has placed itself. In fact, if you look very carefully, at the moment, the environment where I live, the most disliked person in public right now is Ezra Jiroba. You mention his name, even among children, wanasema mwizi, mwizi. It's very annoying to hear children referring to a public official. Now, my plea is this. When is IBC going to take a permanent position with regard to the election? Or are they playing games so that time may lapse? In fact, my view is that this announcement that we are still looking for data. I mean, I earn a living at Kisa doing research. You don't write the report and submit to the client, and then when the client is being interrogated on the report, you begin saying, my client, let me look for the field notebooks where I recorded all my results.
Yeah.
So basically, the logical conclusion from a research and a field project perspective is this is beginning to look from the point of view of IBC like a fraud,
Okay, Kevin.
like number doctoring.
For me, Akisa, we have to take note of something, and this is the impact of what we expect out of this process at different levels. And maybe let me address the first level of the common Kenyans like myself, yourself, and many of us here, and those who are watching this, is that we expected that IEBC was going to deliver free, fair, credible elections. That, to a greater extent, in my view, was done. Until when people were able to go and vote, the systems were working except for areas where there were delays. Until people went on and were there waiting for results, and things just stopped. It is so surprising that I was an observer who was accredited by IEBC into this process. And in one of the polling stations where we were still waiting for returning officers to bring in their ballot papers, we saw results already on screen. And the officials were like, oh, ladies and gentlemen, our results have already appeared. What is going on? And many people just said, oh yeah, so why do we need to count them? Why do we need to tally them? So in my view, just to respond to how this commission was put in place, it's not